So I'm really happy and excited to hear more about Anouk Pappers. And I love this quote, "Our reputation is the most important asset we have." So with that, over to you, Anouk.
Thank you. So first, what about me? Well, since I haven't met most of you yet in person, I thought it would be nice to start with a short story about me and how I got here in New York at the Cornell Club. Don't worry, I'll keep it short. The short version. Ever since I was a little girl, my mom, she was a school teacher, she gave me adventure books to read. And my favorite book of all times is Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. So when I grew up, I thought, wow, I want to travel the world, I want to discover cultures, I want to sit on the back of an elephant, fly in a hot air balloon. So obviously, I decided to study anthropology, because that would allow me for sure to travel the world. Well, it didn't. So I decided to set up my own company, which would help me to do what I would like to do. Here I am. I travel the world on my little bike. And I set out to meet people with a vision and brands with a purpose. To understand what they stand for, to help them write their stories, and to inspire others in return. So actually now you know who I am, or at least you understand why I do what I do. And this is actually the function of this story. It's that we have to get personal. People connect with people. They do not connect with companies, they do not connect with job descriptions. They want to know what drives you, they want to know what motivates you. And some time ago I met the CEO of Kempinski Hotels, which is a 5-star European luxury hotel group, hotels in 3 continents, and they were struggling with their positioning. They said, we are a 5-star hotel chain, but actually we're the same as all the other 5-star hotels. We have great rooms, we have super conference facilities, we have Easter brunches. Boring. We don't have a story. So I sat down with the CEO, we started working together, and we came up with a new positioning. A friend with local knowledge. That's great, he said. But how are we going to show this? Saying it is one, but how do we show that we have this local knowledge? So I said, well, to bring this positioning alive, I think we have to tell stories about the destinations, about experiences. Yeah, but he said, I have to find someone who's willing to travel for 4 months to the Middle East and Africa, visiting all our hotels, the resorts, make video, photos. I think I might know someone, I said. So that's how our adventure started. Visiting all their hotels in the Middle East and Africa, really tough job, as you can see here, being picked up by a horse, getting VIP treatments. So I was invited on a sailing trip on a schooner. Very tough job, I know. So this was great, we were here, I was having a nice and quiet seafood lunch with some new friends. There I am in the corner. And suddenly, one of the sailors started shouting.
Whale shark! Whale shark!
That's my sailor. So we looked over the railing and we saw this huge tail fin. And the sailor said,
That's me. Get into the dinghy!
So we get into the dinghy, which is his little boat, we put on our gear, and after 2 minutes the sailor stopped. And he says,
Go into the water right here, you're right on collision course.
So we get into the water, and then I think, shit, collision course? That doesn't sound good.
Wow.
We missed the sound. Where's the sound? Because a whale shark can be 30 feet long, which is, it's huge. I can tell you. And it has a mouth like a garbage container. And I know that the animal only eats plankton, but I fit easily in the garbage container. Do you feel the emotion? This is not your regular hotel communications. What we said to Kempinski, to the hotel, you have to tell stories, you have to convey emotions. Whoever swam with a whale shark? Anyone? Really, no one? Wow. Your husband. That's good enough. Here, you get a book. So the third story is about my everlasting curiosity. So we said, well, what can we do to nurture my curiosity? So we came up with a project which is called Around the World in 80 Brands, where we travel the world, we meet people with a vision, brands with a purpose, we help them tell their story, and we share the stories with influencers around the world to inspire them to do good. And after some trips, after doing this for quite some time, meeting CEOs, CMOs, business owners in Mumbai, Sao Paulo, Hong Kong, Paris, Nigeria, Singapore, I thought something is not right. I know you cannot see the whole picture, but can anyone see why this is, what's wrong with this?
One woman.
Only one woman. 95% of people we met on our trips around the world were men. Where are all these women leaders? I know they're there, but this was really, really weird. So at the end of one of the trips, I connected with the Women's Forum of New York. The Women's Forum of New York is a very strong organization. It's worldwide, but also based here. And they have a purpose. And the purpose is gender parity in the boardroom, in the C-suite, across companies. So I met with her, with the president, and I said, well, this is a great story with a purpose. I really would like to help you get the story out. And she said, well, we have a problem because we are talking to women. And of course, women are aware of the fact that there are not enough women on boards. So women talking to women about this issue is not going to change the situation. So we sat and we thought, well, what to do? We have to look at the target audience, because who do we want to influence? Do we want to influence women leaders? No, because we know. So who do we want to influence? CEOs, chairmen of the Fortune 500? Mainly men. But yes, those are the ones we want to influence. So we set off on a project where we interviewed 18 of the Fortune 500 CEOs and chairmen in the US and Accenture in Paris. And we asked these, mainly men, to share why having women in a boardroom is important, why it's a business imperative. You have to select your target audience. You can be personal, you can convey emotions in a story, but if you're talking to the wrong people, you're never going to reach your objective. So the last story is about how you can use storytelling to reach your next business goal. And maybe this is the most important one. Meet Mary. Mary has a career on Wall Street, a serious career. She's a woman leader, and about a year and a half ago she decided to quit her job and go to the next level, which was board seats. But she didn't have a story. So I helped her. I sat down with her and I defined the elements, the dimensions that make up her brand, which go from profession, vision, passion, contribution to society, your next goal. So there are 6 dimensions that I think make up the brand you, which is valid for all of you. So I want you to think about these dimensions for yourself, if you ever thought about it, if you define them, because this is what's going to make you unique. We all have our jobs, we all have our experiences, but we're much more than that. We are multidimensional people. So after we defined her dimensions, we created content. So we made stories, we shot some videos, we made pictures, and we published them all online, making sure that when people Google her, this content pops up. And today, she's positioned in the way she wants to be. Fast forward, she found one board seat, the second one is on the way, so we have some great results. And she gets asked to speak, because she's a thought leader. She was, but people just didn't know. So she now gets it, that she's in control of her online reputation, that it's important to use storytelling to reach her next business goal. And that's a one-liner that I want to share with you. If you don't publish, it didn't happen. And if you have any questions about how to work on your own online reputation or how to work on your own story, I'm here all day. as is my business partner Martin, who's also the sailor, and is Nancy in the corner, one of our creative minds working with us. So feel free to step up to us and ask us some questions. Thank you very much.